year to date up 0.5%, but then we did the
But,
first
you know,
27
once again,
days.
you know,
19
remember
days.
when we had all them jakes, you know,
I know.
we knew this year was going to be a lot of
We knew it was
two-year-olds,
gonna be, yep,
two-year-old
sure did.
gobblers on the landscape.
And that's why we've seen a lot of people on Facebook too, like, what's up with the short spurs this year? Well, it's because it's a lot of 2-year-old birds, you know. Hard for them 2-year-old birds to make that 1 inch. They'll make that 3/4 and 7/8.
There we go.
And they're not short.
What a day.
Oh, but I mean, keep them. Yeah, they did.
Don't forget when we start talking that class of wildlife, we need to be sure and explain that class of wildlife before we start talking about it.
Yeah.
You know, for those who,
And I will mention.
which is majority of people don't
Yeah,
When
understand
we do
those.
the real,
Different
when we do
classes
the
of
real
wildlife.
instead of.
Right.
Yeah, that's
No,
why I'm
right.
changing the, that's why I've changed a lot of the terminology on our website, just so people could understand more. Because they don't know what a class 2 mammal is, but
Right.
they know what a squirrel is. You know?
Yeah.
You know, I know what a raccoon is, but what's a class 2 mammal?
I understand.
What's native?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We got about 45 seconds to go.
Jim, yeah, Jim, I could borrow just for a second. Or hold on to it.
Here, you can use that for a second if you need. I just give him mine.
I'll take it. Did you get it?
20 seconds.
Now, does it go automatically?
No, I watch this. We're live right now
Thank you.
Yes,
on there. We're already live.
and they're already
We just have to make
We
sure.
go
On the
live
web?
Yeah,
on
everywhere.
Facebook, yeah.
We're live right now
Yeah, y'all
across.
could have told me that.
Well,
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, across the world. Yeah.
Well, trust me,
Good thing I didn't say nothing.
I've cussed more
Yeah,
than anybody on live. So.
Hello, everybody. I'm Anthony Landry.
I'm Bubba Spencer.
And I'm Keith Haywood.
Hey, we want to welcome y'all to another Tennessee Outside Facebook Live show, coming to you live from the Dr. R.E. Wilhite building right here at the Hardeman County Agribusiness Center in Bolivar, Tennessee. And as we always say, if you hunt and fish in Tennessee, this is a show you need to watch, especially right now, because it is a lot going on in Tennessee. It's still a lot of good hunting left. Fishing is kicked in. All species of fish is kicked in right now. So it's a time you need to be watching, that's for sure. Hey, we will be taking questions tonight too. Hadn't figured out what we're going to give away next, but from the time we did the Tennessee Outside Turkey Call to whenever we do the next one, anybody that's, asked a question, made a comment, you will be entered into that drawing. And I've got a feeling it's going to be something pretty good.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Hey, our guest tonight is TWRA. He is a statewide captive wildlife coordinator, Rusty Bowles. We're going to talk to him in just a second. But Keith, let's give a shout out to our sponsors real quick.
Absolutely. We have Apex Outdoor Rewards. That's our premier sponsor. Deception Scents, Baker Glass Shop, Second Amendment Outdoors, Big Hill Pond Boat Sales and Repair, Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, Lynnhurst Family Resort, Prym1 Camo, Threeway Processing, Wildlife Addiction Food Plot Services, and as always, a shout out to Brian Harford and the Crappie Addicts Facebook page.
Yep. Hey, also too, we'll give a rundown of the Facebook groups that let us share our show to their page. And a lot of people realize now that the Tennessee Deer Hunters Facebook page is back up over 70,000 people. It was shut down for about a year, and then to me, one of the best groups on Facebook. We got a bunch of good ones, but I know Weststone and a lot of us. If you're watching the show and you want to join that page, you have to answer those questions and agree to the rules, because I bet we're probably getting a couple hundred requests a day to join, and we're probably declining over half of them because you don't answer the rules and agree, or the questions and agree to the rules. So it's a good page to be on, and it's not just about deer, it's turkey, fish, and everything, but it's a good page. But Tennessee Deer Hunters, West TN Deer Hunters, Tennessee Woods and Waters, Tennessee Turkey Hunters, Tennessee Bow Hunters, Tennessee Valley Sportsmen, Real West Tennessee Sportsmen, East Tennessee Deer Hunters, Tennessee Rivers and Lakes. Bow Hunters of America, our biggest group, over 230,000 members. True Hunters and Anglers, Southern Boys 870, Hunting for Connections, TN Outdoor Info, Tennessee Hunting and Fishing Report, Hunt Swaps of America, Tennessee Outdoors Hunting and Fishing, Tennessee Small Game Hunting and Fishing, and Middle Tennessee Coyote Hunters.
All right, we have Kentucky Whitetail Hunters. That was established in August of 2015. West Kentucky Deer Hunters, Do a Country Jig, Pickwick Lake Anglers, Crappie, Cats, Bass, and more, Gamekeepers and Food Plots, Pickwick Lake Fishing Reports, Turkey South, Backwood Hunting and Fishing, Wildlife Hunter Association, Whitetail Snipers, Feathers and Fur, Camo Thug Outdoors, Bluntville Tennessee Deer Hunters, Back to the Roots Outdoors, Down to Earth Hunting, Tennessee Kentucky Hunters, and the Hatchie River Fishing Bank Poles.
Yep. Hey, I want to give a shout out to, a lot of people know Keith and I are on the Deception Scent Pro team. We're starting up a 30-minute show, prime time, starting every Monday night. I think it's June 26th. We'll go to the rest of the year. And we're proud to announce that Parrish Elliott came down today. We spent pretty much all morning at Bolivar Ford. Bolivar Ford has picked up. They are going to be our premier sponsor on the Hunt Channel show.
So with that being said, if anybody wants to be a sponsor and be seen nationwide,
yeah, worldwide for that matter.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. They need to give us a call.
Yeah.
And
yeah, because I know the reason Bolivar Ford jumped on it is because probably 65% of their vehicle sales are through the internet. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I work out there, Janet works out there too. We, you know, if you buy a vehicle, you know, off the internet, which a lot of people do, sight unseen, they take trades, you know, send them a picture or something. But we take the vehicle, you know, go to Texas, go to California, Washington State, Minnesota, wherever. You know, we will deliver your vehicle to you. But big shout out to Cody Waddell out there and some of the best salespeople around. But they have signed on, and Cody, we appreciate it. And anybody that on the internet that purchases a vehicle through them, you know, just get a coupon for, you know, up to $50 off of oil change, you know, just to mention Deception Outdoors on the Hunt Channel. So.
That's awesome. And if you know, this show is based on hunting, fishing, outdoors. And,
that's right.
And if you're, you know, you don't have to be in that industry, but if you own a business and you want to be seen and you can do sales through the internet or delivery sales, I'm telling you, it's a good one to jump on because
yep.
it's viewed by several 100,000
You
people.
jumped on too, didn't you?
Absolutely.
I thought you did with
Absolutely.
Wildlife Addiction Food Plot
Absolutely.
Services. All right. Rusty, I know you didn't think we was ever going to get to you.
Oh, you're good.
But we're getting here. Well, we're only 5 minutes into it.
Yeah.
It seems like longer than that.
Yeah.
But folks, like I say, our guest is Rusty Bowles. He is, you know, TWRA. He's the Captive Wildlife Coordinator. So a lot of y'all out there like me, when Rusty first got here, I said, what is a Captive Wildlife Coordinator? It's pretty interesting. A lot of it we knew, a lot of it probably more so we didn't know. But
And he
Rusty,
started laughing because it sounded like he had a lot to say. It's like,
yes.
wow, what a question.
Yeah. So, Rusty, just take it. What is a Captive Wildlife Coordinator for TWRA?
Well, it's still a loaded question, but
yeah, it is.
If you take wildlife and you're going to put it in an enclosure, a corral, a cage, a pen, a high fence area, it's held in captivity. So it is a captive wildlife situation. That's just one of the permits, one of the categories that I do. I also do the scientific collection permits, which they're taking animals from the wild and putting them in captivity to study them.
Okay.
That's also usually like university.
Yeah, university. Yeah, it's universities.
And that's all kind of
educational institutions. These are actual bona fide scientific studies, is what they're doing. Then you have your taxidermists. I oversee all the taxidermists statewide, and we have our nuisance wildlife. Your trappers. You know, I got a raccoon getting in my trash. I got bats living in my attic. So you're going to hire these professional trappers to come in and take care of your problem. So they're trapping these animals. They're putting them into enclosures, you know, so they are a captive situation.
So they have to have a permit.
Oh, yes, they have to have a permit. They have to have an animal damage control permit. So, you know, I do all the educators, the rehabbers, and then when you have your different types of wildlife, like Class 1 wildlife. Most people don't understand what Class 1 is, but Class 1 wildlife are animals that are inherently dangerous to humans. It's something that's going to rip your head off.
Okay, give us an
gonna
example.
eat you,
Some that's
like a tiger, a lion, a bear, an elephant, a baboon, a chimpanzee. Those types of animals, which are Class 1, even like your alligators, your venomous snakes, they are inherently dangerous to humans, so they fall under Class 1 species, which falls under TWRA jurisdiction.
Okay. Is there pretty much all of those you just listed in Tennessee right now?
Those animals?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, look at the zoos.
Yeah, I know, but I mean some of them are not in zoos.
Yeah. So,
they might be in wildlife sanctuaries. I know, like over in Hornwall, the elephants.
Yeah, we have the elephant sanctuary. Then we have Tiger Haven, which is a tiger sanctuary.
Where is that at?
That's in Rome County.
In Rome County.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've heard of it. I didn't know
County.
where it was.
Is it kind of set up like the elephant sanctuary, or?
Oh yeah. This is not open to the public.
Okay.
This is where retired cats and retired elephants go to. That's their retirement home, so that's where they go to live out the rest of their lives.
What about the safari park? Have you been there?
The safari park, they have Class 3 animals.
Okay.
Which you're getting ahead a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So Class 2 animals, which is your native species.
Yeah.
All the species that live here.
Okay.
That are born in the wild, they live here. Your raccoons, your possums, your coyotes, that's your Class 2. Your squirrels, your flying squirrels. All these small animals, that's your Class 2. Then you have Class 3, which is your exotic animals, like your pet store industry.
Well, and
your
I didn't mean to
hoof
get
stock.
ahead.
Yeah, like it's your hoof stock.
Okay.
Like your zebras.
Gotcha.
That's a Class 3 animal.
I was thinking exotic when you were saying the word lion and tiger and all this, so that's what made me jump to that. Okay.
Right. Well, see, that is an exotic animal, but because it can kill you, it becomes a Class 1 animal.
Gotcha.
Okay? So you have your exotic and your native. That's hands down. Then you have your 1, which will hurt you or could hurt you. 2 is your native species. 3 is your exotic species or your agricultural species. Your donkey, your burro, your horses, your rams. Your exotic chipmunks, your exotic squirrels.
So you're
your
saying somebody's
exotic
got a
rats.
donkey, they got to have a permit?
Well, no, this is a Class 3 animal.
Okay.
Okay. See this?
Okay,
I'm just asking. A loaded question that you started.
I know. I just
All right.
was
So
curious.
you have your Class 3 animals, which is like your pet store animals. Then you have your Class 4, which is your big game animals. Then you have Class 5, which are injurious to the wild to the environment.
Okay.
So, like the one that we're proposing to put on now, that's under the public notice right now, is we're going to add the 9-banded armadillo to Class 5, which means it is classified as injurious to the environment. Which is not going to change the season.
Right.
It's not going to change what you do with them. What that does is it keeps it out of the pet industry.
Gotcha.
It keeps it out of personal possession. It keeps us, my nuisance trappers, from trapping it from John Smith and taking it down the road to the WMA, which is his release site, and he turns an armadillo loose on our WMA. So that keeps the movement of that animal, and it guarantees that if a zoo has it, they have to guarantee that that animal cannot escape.
Gotcha.
So that's your classes of wildlife. Now, when it comes to permits, of course, you have to have a permit for your animals that are Class 1 that are inherently dangerous to humans, because they have to be inspected, they have to be followed, because it's a public safety deal. Well,
most of those are in the zoos or
that's all the only place.
Yeah, because
we stopped personal possession.
So the
of
only
Class
place you can
1.
have Class 1 is a accredited zoo.
Zoo or
sanctuary or something.
Well, your sanctuary or a university.
Or university.
Because we do have studies. We do have studies that have Class 1 animals, and they have to become a Class 1 facility, which means they follow all the protection regulations to keep that animal secure and to keep everybody safe. So you have your Class 1 permits, and then you have your Class 2 permits. Your Class 2 permits are your native species. So that's where your propagators for raccoons, for squirrels, for foxes, coyotes, or for your small game preserves. So don't forget about your preserves.
Small
So
game.
now you have
When you
small
say
game preserves.
Small game, you mean like a small game shooting preserve?
Yeah, a small game shooting preserve. Okay, that's where you're going to be hunting bobwhite quail. So a bobwhite quail is a native species. So in order to import that species into Tennessee, they have to get an importation permit, and then to propagate it, to breed them, and then to sell them, they have to get a propagation permit. And then if they are charging people to come to their land, they have to have a small game preserve permit.
Wow.
What about like ducks? Because I remember I had a U.S. Fish and Wildlife permit when I used to raise ducks and stuff, but I never had one from TWRA. Was I supposed to have had one?
Oh yeah, because if it's a native species.
Yeah, well, it wasn't native.
Okay, so like
they come from South America.
Yeah,
the
so,
ones I had.
okay, so it's an exotic species.
Yeah.
So a duck's not going to kill you. You know, if you don't cook it and you eat it,
Right,
it might kill you or would make you wish you were dead.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's not going to kill you, so it's not class 1
Yep.
and it's not class 2. Okay, so that's your permitting right there
Yep.
in the state of Tennessee. Okay.
So would a snake, like a venomous, more like a python type, the bigger snakes, would they fall in class 1?
No, python is a class 3 animal.
But
Okay.
a venomous
You-
is-
It's
Okay,
not.
venomous
It's not.
is
It's not
Venom-
venomous.
anything venomous
Yeah,
is one.
yeah.
Okay.
Anything venomous is one, but actually, not really. Well, technically it is. But right now, under our proposed rule that we're changing right now, I'm trying to make all these illegal venomous snakes legal because they're in the pet stores. They're in your backyard.
Yeah.
You know what a garter snake is?
Well,
Yeah,
predator.
garter is venomous too.
It's venomous. It's
Yeah.
a rear fang snake.
So
the
the
eastern
hognose.
hognose. It's a
is
rear
too.
fang snake.
A lot of people don't.
But they're
it's-
rear fanged.
Yeah.
So and their
not really
levels,
for
their
humans,
venom levels, it's like getting stung by a bee.
But for other critters,
But it's
But-
like
it
for
can.
mice and
Yeah,
things like
it's
okay.
for prey. It's for
Okay,
prey.
okay.
It's not a defense mechanism like it is for a rattlesnake,
That's right.
copperhead, or a cottonmouth.
Okay.
Those are also for food, but it's also a defensive mechanism.
Gotcha.
And that venom, the rattle, nobody's ever really died from a copperhead or a cottonmouth bite unless they went into anaphylactic shock.
Yeah. I know a
That's
guy in
the venom. The venom. If you go into shock and you're allergic to it, you'll go into anaphylactic shock.
That's right.
The anaphylactic shock is what kills you, not the venom.
Is that what killed the guy in East Tennessee several years ago? That copperhead bit him on the arm because he did die from it.
Yeah, he went into anaphylactic shock, and
Of course, I
from
think that was a
everything
captive
everything.
snake too
Oh
involved
yeah, it
in
was
that.
all illegal.
Yes,
They were
that's
so
right.
worried about their illegal snakes, they didn't even call 911 first. They called a snake buddy to come get the snake, and an EpiPen was sitting right next to where the guy was.
Yeah.
And they never even hit him with
never
the
even-
EpiPen
Yeah.
because they knew it was illegal. So they were more concerned about getting in trouble,
Yeah.
and they didn't know
And I knew when it was
how
in-
dire he was.
In February
They didn't
that
know
year,
that.
I knew it
Yeah.
had to be something
Oh, yeah.
captive
Yeah.
involved with
Yeah.
that. But
So you've got your different permits, and we're cleaning things up, and we're going to make it more user friendly for people. Like another reason why I'm here tonight, we're going to talk about babies. Wildlife babies. Yeah, see, 11 minutes. That's not bad.
yeah, no, I just keep
But
it checked.
like we just redid our entire website for wildlife rehabilitation. So if you go to the TWRA homepage and you scroll down just a little bit, couldn't get it at the very top, but just a little bit, you'll see a picture of a rabbit that says, "Help, I found an animal." So you just click on "Help, I found an animal," and that takes you to the rehabilitation page, which has a lot of good information on it. Lots of good information. And with that information, there's a button that says, find a rehabber. Find a rehab facility and ID your animal. And sometimes it's very important to ID the animal. So along with our rehabber list, we have pictures of baby animals. So like you see a baby robin and a baby European starling,
It
most
shows
people aren't going to
natural
know the difference. But when you get on our site, you can look, and when you call rehabber, go, "I've got a baby robin." And they're going to know right off the bat it's a baby robin. That's what they're going to do. So when you go to our site and find a rehabber, you'll go, it says mammals, songbirds, and you click on, if you got a bird, you're going to click on the birds.
Okay.
If you got a mammal, you're going to click on the mammals. Well, when you click on those, then the list comes up like the mammals. It has a list of all the mammals, and whatever you've got, that's the list that you click, and then it's a statewide list of everybody that does that animal in the entire state.
How do you become a rehabber? What do you do? Or is the state in need of rehabbers?
Oh, the state's in desperate need of rehabbers, good rehabbers.
Could you be contacted?
Oh yeah, sure. On our website, my contact information is all over the captive website.
Okay.
If you go to our website and you go to the law enforcement tab, and you go inside the law enforcement section and you go to wildlife rehabilitation, that's where you'll find how to become a rehabber.
Gotcha.
And that's the permitting process, all the qualifications to become a rehabber, to become an educator. You know, all of our applications are online now. They're all PDF fillable. So people with a phone, a tablet, a computer, they'll be able to fill it out. They'll be able to send it to us. And the processing time is speeding up. And we have some more streamlining that's on the horizon. That's going to make things a lot more faster when it comes to these permits.
Gotcha.
Rusty, if somebody's going to become a rehabber, I mean, they got to realize too, the end goal is to return that animal or bird.
Oh, for sure,
to the
for
wild.
sure. I mean, it's in our rules that it's minimal human contact
Right.
to avoid imprinting, because it is a wild animal, and the wild animal, even though it's cute and cuddly right now, that wild animal needs to be in the wild. That's where it was. That's where it was. That's where it was meant to be. It's not meant to be a pet. If you have one of these animals, one, you're probably not feeding it what it's supposed to be fed, and then it's going to have severe diseases to where, like metabolic bone disease, you don't even know. You're like, well, I've been giving this squirrel this food this whole time, and he eats it and eats it and eats it, so he's healthy. Well, he has metabolic bone disease, and once it's been diagnosed, there's nothing you can do for it.
Gotcha.
So when you take these animals out of the wild, one, you are breaking the law. Two, you are not doing any favors to that animal. You're actually doing a disservice to that animal.
I think this gets lost by a lot of people.
Yeah, because
Especially with the phones.
Yeah.
oh yeah, for sure. Okay, you get an animal and you decide, I'm going to save this animal. I'm going to do it. I don't need to take it to a rehabber. My kids love this animal. It's all cute and fuzzy and it's real nice, and I'm going to save this animal. Well, that animal can never go see a vet, because a vet can't treat that animal unless it's got a permit with it.
Right.
All right, so you can never take it to the vet, so it can never have checkups, it can never be vaccinated. None of that can ever happen. And then when you post it on Facebook or somebody else tells us and we get involved and we have to come take that animal has two routes. And one of them's not going back to the wild, even though it's a wild animal. Those two routes are euthanasia or the education program. And not all animals make the education program. That just leaves this route,
Right.
euthanasia.
Use the turtle analogy. How you said the
The box turtle
box
earlier.
turtle in the backyard, how people just pick it up, how that's illegal too.
Well, in the state of Tennessee, okay, to possess an animal, to hunt, fish, trap, to do scientific research, to trap a nuisance wildlife, you have to have a permit. No ifs, ands, or buts. So everybody knows when you're little, you went and picked up a box turtle in the backyard. Oh, look at this box turtle. I'm going to put it in a box.
I know somebody had one over 30 years.
The second you pick that turtle up, you have violated the law, because that is possession of that animal. That is inhibiting that wild animal to do its normal behavior. You are possessing that animal. So when you're taking this, now you do have the Good Samaritan Act. You do have, when you go and you have a turtle you see a turtle on the road.
Right.
I'll just stick with turtles because it's really good. Everybody sees turtles.
My wife is
All right.
helping across.
You see a turtle, okay, help it across. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
If you take that turtle back to your house and turn it loose, you've just given that turtle a death sentence.
That's right.
How
He
about,
will spend the rest of his life trying to get back home.
I saw a wreck happen on 18 last week from a lady that was moving a turtle in the road.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
so
yeah.
once again, you know,
Well, if
be
you're
safe,
the
you know.
Tennessee Identification Snake page, it has all kind of people on there, and it seems like the majority of them are venomous snakes. It's like, I moved this fella across the road. Rattlesnakes, cottonmouths, copperheads, you know. And you know, I guess that's what you want to do. Of course, you know, if you don't know what you're doing, you take a chance on getting bit.
and
too.
plus
Oh, yeah,
you're
for
in the
sure.
road and
That's right.
paying attention to a snake.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
we-
bad that could
yeah.
happen right there.
Yeah, we definitely don't condone people stopping in the middle of a busy road to take a
Yeah.
turtle. It's got to be safe. Human life is more important
Right.
than the wildlife, and a lot of people don't understand that.
Hey, let's knock out some of these questions. Right?
Okay. Hey, I just want to say one thing. On the turtle, you know, they always say if you're going to pick one up, you set it off to the direction it's going.
That's right.
You don't
right.
turn it around and put it back where it came from, because it's already got in his mind program where it wants to go. So it's going to cross it again if you carry him back.
All right, I got one here from Bill Ogden right quick. Is it legal to trap red ear slider turtles from a pond and locate to a new location on WMA waterway?
Okay, now let's get into the nuisance. We'll discuss this. Okay, in the state of Tennessee, a landowner has a right to protect his property and his person. Okay, from animals that have become nuisance. Now, that doesn't mean you've got a turkey lease and you think that the coyotes and the raccoons are nuisances to where they're eating the turkey eggs. That's not a nuisance. That's not a situation where it's a nuisance. You can't treat those animals as nuisance. You still have to follow all the guidelines. But in this situation, yes, you can trap those animals out of your pond. You cannot transport them, and you can't relocate them. In the state of Tennessee, there's very few people that can transport and relocate, and they have to have permits. And one reason is the spread of disease. And like out here, y'all know CWD.
Yeah.
Okay, in East Tennessee, we know raccoon rabies.
That's right. Yeah.
So raccoon rabies is moving west, and CWD is hopefully
moving.
very slowly
going
moving
to the
east.
east, yeah.
So we're going to converge at one point and pass each other.
Yeah.
So transporting animals when you don't know that they're sick, you're taking a healthy animal and putting him in a sick population, or taking a sick animal and putting him in a healthy population, and that's where your spread of diseases come from. So that's why, no, you cannot do that. You can't take that, especially a waterborne animal like a red ear slider.
Right.
Even your map turtles, your yellow bellies. No, you don't want to do that because, one, you don't know what the situation in your water is, and you don't know what the situation in the water on the WMA is.
Can you bust them with a 22 in your own lake?
Well, shooting a firearm into water is not the smartest thing
I know,
to do.
but I do it from my deck because I'm shooting
you
down.
you do a trot line, and you get it out. And,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know on public
you-
water, but I'm talking
yeah.
about like on my own lake. Because I mean, I don't have as many of them turtles as I used to. I've kind of eliminated a bunch of
Well,
them. But
anytime anybody tells me that they want to use a firearm to take care of a nuisance animal, I tell them first thing, okay, you're responsible for that round no matter where it
oh
goes.
yeah.
And they come back and go, well, we've got a city ordinance that says no shooting a firearm inside the city limits. Well, shooting a firearm at nuisance wildlife is a hunting activity, and hunting activity is state law. State law supersedes
That's
city ordinances.
exactly right.
But if you shoot that animal, it goes through that animal, ricochets into your neighbor's house. Now you haven't legally
That's right.
been doing a hunting activity. You can be charged with a number of reckless endangerment, and you can be charged with firing the firearm inside city limits because you weren't legally doing the action. So whenever anybody says, well, I want to shoot it, I'm like, look, you're responsible for that round no matter where it goes.
right.
The second you pull that trigger. So you think about that before you do
Yeah,
anything
once you pull that
else.
trigger, you can't take
You
it
can't.
back.
You can't call it back.
Hey, let me get one more
Okay.
question here.
Yeah, let's knock them all
All right,
out real
this from
quick.
Pete Boyd. Is it legal to trap a raccoon and drive it down the road to release it somewhere else?
Same question.
Same question.
You can't
Different
do
species.
that. Yeah, it's a different. The relocation, the transportation is everything. That goes from your garter snake to your turtle to your big animals, everything. There is no transportation and relocation of wildlife in Tennessee. We haven't issued one of those permits in years. I can't even find one in the archives, even though we do have a permit for that. I can't even find one in the archives.
Okay. What else
So,
you
yeah.
got, Bo?
Let's do this one after the break, because it's a whole
Okay.
different.
Here's another
See if
Oh,
there's
different.
one right there we'll knock out.
All right. If you have a raccoon problem within the city limits, do you have to call animal control?
Okay, well, some city animal controls have our permits, and some cities do not. So if a city has our permit, like there's cities that offer their townspeople, this is a service that we're going to provide. So their animal control has our animal damage control permits. So they're legal to go out and take these animals and trap these animals and follow all the ADC guidelines. So it depends on what city you're in if your animal control has those permits.
If they did have that permit, then legally they're not supposed to. I mean, they can catch that animal, but they're not supposed to move and turn it loose anywhere else.
They have the permits.
Okay, so they can.
They have the permits.
Okay.
The animal, and they have highly restrictive release sites.
Okay.
They have specific release sites that they can only release certain animals on.
Okay.
Okay?
Right.
So like in East Tennessee, in the raccoon rabies surveillance zone, all your rabies vector species, your foxes, your coyotes, your skunks, your raccoons, they all have to be euthanized.
Well,
When you get outside the zone, you can relocate. They can relocate these animals.
Well, let's just say
because they're
someone
outside
has
the
a
zone.
raccoon problem at their house, and they want to do it themselves with a live trap.
Live trap it, and then
Dispatch it.
and then
but-
and
then
then
take care of it.
euthanize it. You
Yeah.
can euthanize it. You have a firearm is acceptable euthanasia.
But then if we're in the city limits, we have to be careful about giving people
Right.
permission to
Sure,
discharge.
sure. That's why the first thing we talk about
Yeah.
is, hey, this liability. Cervical dislocation, that works really well. And I know some counties, their animal control will assist.
with the dispatch of the animal.
Yeah. Or if you've got a vet might dispatch it for you, put it to sleep. So yeah, that's one thing that you want to do is make sure you're doing everything safe when you're messing with the firearm.
All right, it's 7:30. Let's knock out a break real quick. Hey, folks, Apex Outdoor Rewards. Apex is our premier sponsor, and it's still not too late to sign up because our season goes till May 28th.
You wanna
And
talk
you know,
about that?
any other
Because
states
that won't
that I'm
do it.
fixing to read off, if you're in one of them, you want to sign
Let's
up. They
talk
did
about
reduce
babies.
it to from $125 to $50. If you sign up right now, you know, the first time you sign up, you get the turkey tool. It's got a scale on it. Use it as a turkey toter. It's got the ruler on it. You measure your spurs and your beard. The competition is 1 times the weight, 2 times the beard, 10 times the spur length. But it's active right now in Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, Virginia, West Virginia, and Wisconsin. So, you know, we had some people right here. I think the guy in Hardeman County, Jonathan Same, won first place last year. So, and then our buddy Jeremy McCartney, he won 2 place. You know, God rest his soul. But anyway, you can, right now is a good time to enter, and it's not too late. A lot of people are tagged out, but once you enter, then you take your bird after that. Hey, Deception Outdoors, you know, have a complete line of scent eliminating products. Like I say, Parrish was down today, you know, out there filming for the whole Deception team. Myself, Keith, Courtney Smalley, Chase Grigg, and Chris Jack Demon from right here. But they make scent elimination and the fast gas, Pure RV. They've got many turkey calls on there. Keith, you and I both, we've got our share of them this year.
Yes,
And you know, the Pure Marine, you can find it in I think over 2,000 Walmarts. If you watch a Bill Dance show, you're going to see it because Bill Dance, he was highly impressed with the Pure Marine. But you sell it on Amazon, Shields, but I highly recommend, you know, getting you some Deception scent, whether it's duck calls, turkey calls, deer calls, or any of their scent elimination products. Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, go to www.tnwildlife.org for information, and be sure to follow TWRA on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And I mean, some of the things that Rusty is talking about, you can go on the site and find out all the information about the permits, how to be a rehabber, and all kinds of stuff. Threeway Processing, you know, the only thing I can tell you, they're not going to be where they were this winter. And as Bubba and I have talked about, if old David Tyndall don't find somewhere to go, it's going to hurt the deer hunting in West Tennessee. I can tell you for a fact. He thought he had a place lined up in Madison County, and he still may do, but he run into some snags with it. But he's looking for a 5,000 to 6,000 square foot building or 5 to 15 acres to build on in either Madison, Gibson, Haywood, or Crockett counties. You can contact David at 731-432-9076.
I got you. All right, we have Baker Glass Shop. Stop by and see Corey Madden for all your glass needs. I'm sorry. Auto, big trucks, heavy machinery. Contact Corey at 731-658-4510. And he's located at 321 East Market Street, right here in Bolivar, Tennessee. We have Second Amendment Outdoors, your one stop shopping for all your outdoor needs. They have guns, ammo, fishing tackle, clothes, boots, and much more. Mark Austin and his great staff will take good care of you. Contact Mark at 662-594-8687, and they are located at 2804A Highway 72 West in Corinth, Mississippi. We have Big Hill Pond Boat Sales and Repair. Go see Kenny Fortune for all your boating needs, sales or repair. He also has firearms and fishing tackle. Contact Kenny at 731-645-4384. He's located at 9282 Highway 57 in Raymond, Tennessee. We have the Lynnhurst Family Resort. And before I even talk about this, if you're interested in camping, which is what we're fixing to talk about, and you mentioned that if you call to make reservations and you mentioned to them that you heard about them on Tennessee Outside, you'll get a 10% discount. So the Lynnhurst Family Resort, they are located on the Blood River in the inlet of Kentucky Lake. You can stay in one of their cabins, condos, in the motel, or at one of their campsites. They also have pontoons, jet skis, and golf cart rentals. Book by calling Dennis Helmuth at 270-436-2345 or 606-341-3399. We have Prym1 Camo, the ultimate concealment solutions for the outdoorsman and woman that need to blend into their surroundings. Go to prym1camo.com and check out all their products. Their 20% off code is Hero1. And I think you mentioned last week they may even have a beer discount.
Yeah, it was 40%. I don't know if that's still going or not. Even on the new OS Prym1.
So check out the Prym1 Camo. Their camo is amazing looking. Yep. And then you have myself, which is the Wildlife Addiction Food Plot Services. You can reach me at 731-780-HUNT, which is 4868. Or you can reach me on my personal phone, which is 731-780-6426. We offer a full line of bush hogging, food plot services, seeding, overseeding, you name it, we can do it. From a turnkey job all the way down to just simply coming out there and fertilizing your food plot for you. And for those of you watching, look, we're booked, we're wide open. Spent a lot of time on a tractor over the weekend. The rains messed us up pretty good, and playing catch up.
Yeah.
So
I hear you. All right, Bubba, you want to knock out these numbers real quick?
Yeah, let's get right into our turkey harvest numbers.
All right. You want to knock out the
I
total stuff, and I'll do the county, whatever you want
well,
to do.
First of all, once again, on these turkey numbers, they're a little different from years in the past because of our different season format this year.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start off with just our year-to-date. So it'd be the date this year as compared to the same date
last year, even though it's 2 weeks less hunting this year. Yeah.
In 2022, we had killed 28,642. This year, 2023, we killed 28,792. So we're up 150 birds, or up 0.5%. So still, slightly ahead.
Yeah. And then we just took a hit this week, really today,
Yeah.
or yesterday,
Yeah, and so
on the year to date.
yeah, let's jump over. You know, our Jake harvest last year 4,353. This year 2,972. So we're down 1,381 birds, which is down 32%, which is very concerning for next year.
That's right.
We just won't have the number of 2-year-old gobblers on the landscape that we had this year, probably.
To me, that kind of says that 2 years ago we had a massive
just
Jake
a
hatch.
massive,
Yeah.
massive hatch, and just 2 years ago we had that huge number. Last year had that huge Jake numbers, which correlated to
but
2-year-old birds this
Yeah,
year.
that's right.
And then we're down 96 bearded hens, which is just always an oddity. So,
But that's still pretty good, though.
Yep, yep.
I'd rather keep a bearded hen on a landscape.
yeah, that's
myself.
true.
And okay, if we're going to do like just the first 27 days comparison, first 27 days this season versus the first 27 last year, like I say, first 27 this year we're at 28,792. The first 27 days last year was at 24,152. So we are ahead 4,640 birds if you just, and that's really the true way to compare apples to apples, because first 27 days from this year versus last year. So we're up 19% right there. So,
but that being said, our bird harvest is really starting to fall off. It's hot out there.
it is. Plus the 2-bird limit.
2-bird limit.
A lot of people that,
and it's
once you limit, got it like those, I was through in 3 days. So, a lot of people were.
Well, let's get right into our counties harvest right off the get-go. We're going to do our top 10 counties. I'll start off number 10, Wickley County, 506 birds. Last year, 542, down 36. Number 9, Robertson County.
And that's year to date, too.
Year to date. Robertson County, 516, down 62 birds. Sumner County coming in at 546, and they were actually up 30 birds. Number 7, Hickman, 551, which is a big jump, up 114 year to date. Number 6, Giles coming in at 561, up 96. Tie for 5th between Wilson and Rutherford, both coming in at 575. Wilson down 96 and Rutherford down 100. They're about tied all the way around on every aspect.
Sure are.
Number 4, Montgomery County coming in at 598, down 40 birds. Number 3, Dixon County jumping up into 600, 678, down 73. Number 2, Greene County jumping up real high, all the way to 818 birds harvested, up 2. Our number 1 county so far this year is Maury County, coming in at 900 birds, down 144.
Yeah. And if you just look at the 27 days, comparing them on those same counties, number 10, Weakley County, is at 469, is what it was last year on first 27 days. They're up 37. Robertson County this year is up 40. Sumner is up 104. The biggest jump, that comparing the same number of days is Sumner County, 104. But Giles County was still 2 weeks late last year. They're up 200.
Yeah.
Wilson County is up 6. Rutherford up 20. Montgomery County is up 54. Dixon up 46. Greene up 115. And Maury County is up 33. So when you compare apples to apples on 27 days, this year versus last year, all the top 10 are up.
Yeah, and that jumps right out at me.
Yes.
All the top 10 counties are up. That jumps out at me in our Jake harvest being down. Both those numbers sort of jump out at us.
And I went ahead, too, because a lot of people would ask about how the WMAs are looking this year. If you just compare date to date from this year versus last year, we're down. We've taken 204 this year. Last year, same date, 2138, so we're down 134 or 6%. But when you look at just the first 27 days of both years, it's 204 for this year. Last year was 1830, so we're really up 174 or up 10% on the WMAs. So, and I know some people ask about Chickasaw. Chickasaw's still at 4, and Natchez Trace, I think they had 24, I believe, since they was the one that went quota. All right, you got any more questions for you?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
We'll go straight into this. Sort of touches on what we just left, turkey, and what we were talking about earlier. If the state is trapped in relocation turkeys, doesn't it potentially spread turkey diseases? Steve Turpin. That's a good point, Steve. And I don't know of any turkeys that are being relocated at the present moment.
I think the only trapping involved now is just to ban.
Banned and some to study, but I don't know of.
I don't know of any that's being trapped to transport it, because I know,
Transported.
I used to help TWRA do that in the 80s, and because we
But I don't
sat on them bait
I
sites
don't-
all
I
day
don't-
long to shoot them mortar
I
nets.
can't remember the last time someone trapped and actually relocated a bird.
I don't know either.
It's
you
been
know?
it's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think right now, Steve, the only trapping involved is to trap and ban. Because I think their goal is what? Is it ban 300 birds a year?
I think that was.
I believe
I
it's-
think that was the go. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it was. I think their goal was like 75 in all 4 regions like on that. But I know 300. But I know they did do some for sure this year in West Tennessee. But they do it every year
Yeah.
since they started that.
Yeah.
But is that it?
Well, we can go down this one quick rabbit hole.
Okay.
And then we can get back to Rusty.
Rusty said he likes going down the rabbit hole. So
This is from our buddy Kurt Pazdro.
okay.
What are the repercussions of a hunter shooting another hunter while hunting? My friend was shot in the face and upper body while turkey hunting in Kentucky. Well, Kurt, I don't want to talk about that specific case. I'm sure it's ongoing investigation. But in general, well, we mentioned it earlier, you are responsible when you pull the trigger.
That's right.
There are several things that jump to my mind is, you got.
I mean, first off, you got to figure out if it was really malice or just an accident.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it. Some of these hunting accidents. Yeah, you have to figure out first if it's even an accident.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, things happen.
Yeah.
That's a good way to off somebody. but-
And I've been in these investigations where people have died.
Yes.
And man, it's
I mean, it's tragic.
it's tragic, and man, it's complicated to try to.
But the
figure
thing
it out.
is, one of the cardinal rules of that is identify your target before you pull that trigger.
And we also have legally, and then we also have civilly.
That's right.
That both of these issues
Yep.
could arise.
And
both
be
things.
honest though, you shooting TSS, you really may be shooting at a turkey and not know it's a person down there.
Yes.
'Cause I had a buddy that did that a couple years ago. It was some people trespassing on his property.
Yeah.
And they were like down in a little creek bottom hiding down there because they knew he was working a bird, and he saw the bird and he shot it. And they started screaming. But they were trespassing.
And and I don't tell a lot of turkey hunting stories, but I will tell this one. I got drawed at Natchez Trace. It's probably about back when it used to be drawed hunt before it went non-quota. And
it's back quota now.
yeah, it's back to quota now. But anyway, there was a bird goblin, and I was younger, and I was in running shape. And man, I got in there and got up on him and got real close to him. To make a long story somewhat shorter, the bird, he flew down. As soon as he flew down, he landed just right there, just textbook in front of me. I pulled the trigger. Come to find out, there were 6 of us on that bird. And man, and all of us were legally could have been there. And luckily I got the bird. Luckily I didn't shoot anybody. But man, we surrounded that bird.
Yeah.
And man, that's just turkey hunting can just put you in situations
It
like
sure
that.
can.
Yeah, you're in full camo.
Full
You're being
camo,
shot.
man, and I
And your
was,
steel is everything.
and I called just a few times, and then man, I got lucky. I got really close to him, and then I heard some people calling behind me, and I knew there was some people behind me, but I didn't know there was people over here that I thought was the actual hen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man,
Well, that's why a lot of time, a lot of turkey hunters, they go out there, they want to make that bird gobble a bunch. Well, I'm not going to lie. Once I know where he is, and I know it's other people in the vicinity, I just soon as shut up.
yeah.
Because a turkey gobble is nothing going to be a human attractor.
Attractor,
That's all.
right.
That's all it's going to be doing.
And that was on public land, and everybody was supposed to be there. But man, you can get into action quickly.
Yeah, you sure can.
In those type of situations.
So I guess, Kurt, to answer your question like that, but like Bubba said, there'll be an investigation on it to find out, and that's the first step. You really can't go anything after that until you see how that comes out.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep. So go through the investigation process and see what the facts of the case are.
that's right. And then everything will start falling in place after that. But and not knowing how that goes, that's really all we can say. Is that?
Well, let's get back to Rusty. Rusty, is there anything that we feel like we need to go back over that
we
you don't feel like you
about
touched?
13 minutes. What's
That you
up
didn't-
for the
Well,
general public to know?
Right now is baby season. It's what everybody calls it. It's baby season. My phone has rang off the hook today. I've gotten over 30 calls on babies. So if you're walking outside and you see a little baby bird on the ground, more than likely it's fledging, because birds are fledging right now. Fledging means it's when mama's kicking that baby out of the nest. It's time to get the teenager out of the nest. He's going to take care of himself. So if you see these fledglings, leave them alone. Don't need to pick them up. You don't need to take them to a rehabilitator. The mama's not going to be right there with the baby, but the mama's going to be watching it. So don't kidnap that baby. Leave the baby alone. Keep your dogs and your cats away from that baby, and give it time, and they'll take care of itself. Just like with rabbits. Your dog might bring a rabbit in, or your cat might bring a rabbit, little baby bunny in. If it doesn't have any broken skin, it's not bleeding, it's just got slobber all over it, go out, find the rabbit nest, put the bunny back in the rabbit nest. Rabbits tend to only feed their young twice a day, and it's not going to be when you're looking at the rabbit hole. So get the bunny back in the rabbit hole, just like if you're mowing and you see a big poof of fur come out, don't freak out. It's probably just the covering of the rabbit hole. It's not the rabbit. Just put it back on the covering back on top. That mother knows where to go to find that baby. So same thing with fawns. TWRA, we are not rehabbing fawn anymore. Because of CWD and our CW master plan, we do not want to spread this disease.
So it cannot be transferred to
we
another
are
place.
not moving fawns around. And to be honest, about 80-90% of all the fawns that are brought into rehab, they're being kidnapped.
Yeah, that's right.
Most people don't understand that. They just see a fawn there, they don't see mama around, and they automatically assume this is an abandoned fawn. They're going to pick it up and save it, and they're going to take it to a rehabber, when all in actuality, they just kidnapped that fawn. Because your backyards, your manicured backyards, you trim your hedges, you cut your grass, that is a predator-safe zone. So when these mamas drop their babies off into your backyard, that's just like you dropping your children off at daycare.
You know, Anthony, you and I have talked about that multiple times. It seems like some of these does know that these backyards are safe areas.
That's right.
They do. They know it. They know it. That's why they're putting them there. And that's why the bunnies the rabbits will have their bunnies in your backyard.
You know, another thing we was talking about, you know, if you do get a deer in the backyard, put it in some shade.
That's the biggest call we get.
Yeah.
It's like you're sitting out there in that hot sun.
Just quit looking at it and check on it tomorrow morning. It'll probably be gone.
Just pick it up, move it to the nearest woods where it's a shade.
And quit looking at it.
And that mama
Quit
will
worried
find
about
it. And most likely by the next day, it's gone.
And you know, we bring this up. You know, the mother doesn't want to be with the fawns all the time because that would be a predator attracted. And so she's just gonna nurse them and then leave them.
She's trying to get it strong enough to where it can.
And then once it gets its feet up on underneath it, that nature knows when it's going to go with it, mama. Until that time, just let it be.
Yep. All right. What else?
Hey, let me jump in a quick question.
Okay.
There. I hate to interrupt.
No, that's fine.
We got
time. We got 10 more minutes.
Yeah, this is a good one from Bill Ramsey. He said, "Is there a tracking program going on by TWRA for deer? I have one on camera, Houston County, with an orange collar and what looks like a tracking device." You know, Bill, Houston County.
See, I know it's some stuff down here.
I know there's some stuff in on Ames Plantation. I know there's some stuff from Mississippi State.
Yeah.
But I don't know anything in Houston County. But Bill, I'd like if you'd send us a picture of that.
Yes.
To Anthony, and let's see if we can figure out something.
It may not be an orange collar. It might be a pink collar.
Might be a pink collar.
Yeah. Might be a
that could have done faded to orange or something.
Might be an illegal deer that somebody had when
that's
they
why
were
I was.
little,
That's why I was.
They've turned it loose.
Yeah.
Or it
But
escaped.
he said if it looked like it had some kind of tracking
collar.
device.
That's why I told him if he
could
could send us the picture.
Yeah.
Send us the picture. We'd like to see it. And we'll see it.
Could
Because
be a name tag.
and the reason we're saying that is because everybody knows
Rudolph.
our buddy Roger McMullen. He had one. Trump. We called him Trump. He had a number. He had 4 number 47 ear tags in his ears, and of course, the guy, I think, Bubba, you once sent me the picture of it. I think 2 farms over got it. Well, now Roger's got one, and I think it's 74.
74 from
It is hanging
Mississippi
out
State.
on his farm in Grand Junction now. But if I'm not mistaken, I think Mississippi State said, if we see that one, to take it out. I don't know why.
I can't remember.
But so I'd be curious about the one from Houston County.
Yeah,
Because then it makes you wonder, like, there's people that can check in on that, because Bubba's one checked in, found out these come from Mississippi State.
Okay.
But a lot of times the state, they might not be very forthcoming at first on stuff, but makes you wonder, like, if it's Kentucky doing something.
Kentucky might be doing something that we're not.
But that's something that we might could find out, Bill.
Yeah.
So if you could send me a picture
Send
of
us
that.
that picture and let's see what we can.
We'd like, and I'm curious too if it's got an ear tag in it, because most time when these universities do studies on that.
I seriously doubt it's one from Mississippi State, but
Well, yeah, I mean, but
who
it would be
knows?
cool to know, if
who
it
knows?
would. It sure would. Janet, what else? I see you writing over there while we're on
While
questions.
she's doing this, you brought up something earlier. I didn't mean to butt in real quick. You brought up
yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
You brought up something interesting about the state of Tennessee. Were you talking about the diversity of it? What was that you brought up?
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
and I
the-
appreciate
the-
that's a
the-
good one.
I guess we're talking about the scientific
We're-
collection permits.
We're one of the highest biodiverse states because we go from the flatlands of the Mississippi Delta with everything in between all the way up to the highlands of the Smoky Mountains.
Basically stair-stepping all the way.
Yeah, and we have everything, every bit of topography in between. And we have a very high number of endangered species. So we have a lot of people coming from all over the world to come to Tennessee to get scientific permits to do studies.
Gotcha.
But there's like a
that's
whole
like
bunch
at
of
the-
ecosystems
Yeah,
in there.
yeah,
in the
oh
same
yeah, yeah.
state.
That's just like with your deer over here at Ames, where they're collaring deer, they're tagging deer. They have to have a scientific permit to do that.
Right.
So when we know they're doing it, somebody can call in and go, "Hey, I've got this." Well, we know where that came from.
Yes.
We know who's doing that. So it helps us when the researchers and we know exactly what they're doing.
Right.
And the areas that they're doing it.
Plus, it'd be pretty cool to find one that did travel a long ways
Oh yeah.
off.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Bill Ramsey, please send me that picture.
This Bill Ramsey said it is definitely an orange in color, and it's loose on the neck of the buck, and there's no ear tags.
Okay.
Okay.
And it might just be somebody.
It might just be somebody that
We
did,
don't know.
yeah,
But yeah, we'd like to see the picture.
yeah, sure would.
Oh yeah.
And then I'll get a quick question here, and I'll let you answer this one. From Tritt Ellington. It says, we need a program research to figure out why our turkey population is so bad. Man, Trent, we already spent how much? on
Well,
this
I know there
last-
was a 5-year study. I
5-year
don't know
study.
how many hundreds of thousands of dollars we
millions,
spent on
yeah,
it.
I don't know.
Yeah, probably was
I don't know.
millions. But I mean, and they're still developing the end results. They've kind of come out with so. But the thing is, it was like that we all figured from the beginning. It wasn't going to be a smoking gun.
Guys, not a smoking gun. Yeah.
It's kind of like just a perfect storm of a lot of individual things that's causing it.
And they still ain't come up with their final results.
No,
from
they
that
hadn't.
5-year study.
Roger Shields talked like it might be, toward this fall or spring, next spring,
Yeah.
really, before they come out with the final, numbers. Or
And,
not numbers,
I'm
but all
not
the
sure
info.
even after that, even if it's going to be something that could be fixed on a statewide basis.
Right.
It might could be helped on a localized farm.
You've got too much topography.
Yeah.
You got too much difference, too many variations.
But
too many
I-
variations in the landscape and your
Yeah.
predators.
Well, it's
You've
funny
got your
that this
different
is brought
predators.
up.
So there's a lot of variables that
Yeah.
anytime you're looking at a wildlife study, there's a lot of variables that you have to look at. You can't just look at disease. You have
Right.
to look at the topography, the roadways.
And,
Logging is one of the things I saw. Actually, it was funny because I watched a program today.
I saw a video about saying logging too was
and it
Yeah,
was
I
talking
do that.
about back in the
think you
80s,
sent it
to me.
in
Yeah,
the
I saw
80s and 90s, they did a lot of prescribed burns
Yep.
for the guys to walk in
Yes.
and cut trees. And now they're using equipment that is able to go through.
Yep,
It's
I
going to
see.
be able to pick up anything, but it's leaving a whole lot of brush for predators to hide in.
Well-
and Tritt's family, and I know their farm,
Yeah.
and I know what's been done to Tritt on y'all's farm, so that could be
Well,
part of it with
one thing about it, the suppression of fire in the Mid-South or the eastern part of the United States or the United States in general, it is not good for wildlife.
Yeah.
What's that now?
The suppression
The
of fire.
suppression.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
it-
We need fire.
We need
It's-
fire.
We
it's
need
just
fire
as
and we
you
need it
described,
controlled.
That's
It's
right.
We need
just-
it controlled.
That's right.
we just, and
He said logging is his biggest problem.
That's right. And Tritt, I'll call you. We'll talk
Yeah,
in a while.
yeah,
we need
yeah.
to talk sunflowers too.
Yeah.
so, yeah.
You know, and the other thing too, though, is that some areas that I know, even in this county, say 6-7 years ago, you know, you couldn't buy a turkey on it. The last couple of years, I mean, it's like they've moved back in. So I think too that turkeys, I think it's an ebb and flow on that.
Well, yeah, especially on turkey farms. You know, we've all had that one farm that was just hot, and you couldn't wait to get on next year. Next
Yeah.
year, nothing's there.
That's right.
You know, it's hard to get those
And
consistent.
same way, especially
turkey
here in Hardeman
places.
County, it's farms that you'll go deer hunting, you'll see turkeys every day. Turkey season get here, you're not going to hear
Yeah,
a guy.
that's almost like a. If you've seen a bunch of turkeys with your deer hunt, that's always scary that they're going
That's
to leave
right.
it.
Yeah.
We got another one.
Okay.
From Steve Turpin.
Yeah.
He said, will the results of the turkey study be made available to the public to read?
From what I was
I-
told
I-
in the
I
commission
think
meeting,
so.
it was going to, Steve, because I remember Roger Shields talking about that.
And
but-
when that comes out, we're going to have a whole episode just on that.
Yeah, we sure will. I mean,
we're going to really.
I'd like to
really,
even try to maybe get
Yeah.
Roger to come down
Yeah,
or
that'd be
somebody
great.
from TWRA that would talk about that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we're all wanting to know that too, but I know one thing they did already announce that it was no, smoking gun on that for sure.
I have one more question.
Okay?
This is from Tripp again.
Uh-huh.
He said, if I were to want to use the prescribed fire on my farm in the timber, who do I need to contact to get some assistance? Is that something that TWRA would assist with?
That would be the forestry
The
division.
Forestry division, and they may or may not help depending on the situation.
That's
but
right.
you would have to get a permit at certain
Yeah, certain times of the year you do.
You'd have to get a permit.
Yeah, right now I don't think you do unless they issue red flag warnings.
Yeah.
But I think it's from October to March, I believe, is when you got to have a permit, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'd have
I'm
to go
almost
back and
positive
look.
that's what
Is
it
that the
is.
month?
Yeah, I think it is October to March.
We said before the show, and I know there's a lot. We said we could have three full episodes with
Yeah.
him
Yeah,
on here.
yeah,
Plus,
So we got about
Yeah.
a minute,
But
yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna fledge a little bit at my house, guys. So it's time for some of these kids to go. I've learned a new word. and we're
Yeah,
gonna fledge
yeah,
tonight.
yeah. It's time to kick him out of the nest.
Hey, Rusty, okay, I know like we do, we have a minute, but I mean, if it goes over, that's fine. But if there's any one thing you could tell the public about anything about, like, especially if we talk about this is baby season, what would you tell them or advise them?
Well, our website has a lot of good information on it. It's got a lot of contacts on there. Use the website. Utilize the information.
Okay.
Talk to a rehabber. Be patient. And
Are there any
that'll
birds of
help
prey
you out.
rehabbers around here?
Oh yeah, there's Union University is a raptor rehabilitator. Then you have the Raptor Rehabilitation Center in Memphis, and then you have the Memphis Zoo. So right here in just this area,
Real Foot, don't they have stuff there?
Reelfoot they have birds as well.
Yeah.
Paris Landing State Park does raptors.
Okay. But you was talking about zoos,
pick
just so
one.
that people know. So
Is
all
it
the
Big
gonna
Hill
get mad at
Pond. Big Hill Pond.
No, they're educators.
They're educators.
the zoos, they all had to have permits for all these, especially Class 1 critters. and
Oh
stuff.
yeah. The zoos are all permitted.
Okay, yeah, I figured there was. Okay. Bubba, you got anything else?
No, let's be sure. Boating season's underway. Let's
Yeah,
be
we're
safe.
going to try to get a guest in there because the BUI laws changed and they go into
Was-
effect July the 1st. And we're going to try to have somebody on here to go over them because, we're off to a pretty bad start already on fatalities on Tennessee waters this year. So we're going to try to keep it as safe as we can because really big boating season is, the end of this month, Memorial Day coming up.
I mean, it is almost like summertime, hot out there today.
Yeah. Well, they said Memphis hit 90 today, first time this year.
Like
so.
summertime.
My family's ready to hit the water, and that weekend we hit the water and we leave. We go as far away from everybody as we can,
Yeah.
and we do it on purpose. So.
Yeah. All right, Keith, any final thoughts, brother?
Man, just
Other
great
than what you
show.
just
I
said?
would love to. God, I wish he could come back because this could be.
Yeah, we
feel
could have
like
picked
only
one
got
little.
a ounce
Yeah,
of what we-
he does so many different things. We sort of covered a little bit of everything.
Right.
I'd be
Yeah.
glad to come back.
Hey, we
anytime.
appreciate the questions. And, as we said last week, I mean, Bubba called me, Dave told me about Rusty. I thought, boy, it's perfect timing right
Yeah.
here. But if any of our audience has a topic or a guest y'all'd like for us to get on here, man, put it in messages. Send me a private message, Keith one, and we'll see what we can do. Because, I mean, all we try to do is get the information out to everybody that watches our show, and we greatly appreciate everybody that watches our show.
It's for y'all, not for us. It's
That's
for them,
sure.
100%.
That's why we've started doing it to the beginning.
That's right.
Appreciate Rusty coming on.
Yep.
No problem.
All right, we'll see y'all next week right here next Tuesday night, 7 o'clock for another Tennessee Outside show. Thanks a lot. We'll see y'all.
Good night.
Stay tight. We